All right, hey everyone. Working today a little bit on Yoink v2. We have a new version of Yoink built on Frames v2. Yeah, here it is. Actually, let's go find it in Yoink channel. Yeah, here it is. So this is like a slightly more complex application than the one we've looked at in the past, which is just our demo app. This is a simple little capture the flag game. But it's pretty busted right now, I think, based on some changes that we've made to Yoink over the last week or so. This is both a V1 frame and a V2 frame. It's got a lot kind of going on in this repo. So just going to sit down right now and work on fixing up, debugging, figuring out and fixing up some of these issues here. So a few things I know we need to do are, let's just write these out somewhere, I guess. Yeah, I know we need to work on some data caching in here. So you might notice if you've used this, this leaderboard, we're displaying like the recent activity and the leaderboard, and sometimes this is cached. So I think there's some Next.js stuff in the middle here that's caching that data. Ideally, this would be more real time. This Yoink button is pretty inconsistent. This is triggering a on-chain transaction, and from time to time, you either get a gas estimation error. Yeah, there it is. Or sometimes these error messages are not correct. Like right now, I definitely don't have the flag, but we're getting an incorrect message there. Yeah, what else? We have web available now. So we have this set of web dev tools. What is this? Yoink.party/frames v2. You can use this to test out your frames on web, but just need to walk through and make sure that things are actually working here on web. Oh, and the final thing here, you'll notice we're using this button at the bottom. Kind of tough to tell, but if you look carefully, this is actually in the webcast interface rather than our frame. Like our frame, maybe if we change the background here, you could see more easily. But our embedded frame web view actually starts like from here down, and we're using this this primary button. If you've looked at the frames v2 spec, this is like one of the SDK actions we anticipate adding. We're probably going to do this, but this is still like kind of experimental. It's bad to have in here as the example because it's something we're not yet really supporting. So, and it's been a little bit buggy. So rather than putting this in the demo, just going to remove this. We're going to move this from using this primary button, which is in the webcast context, into our own interface. So we'll just kind of like move this button into the web view rather than being displayed down here at the button at the bottom. And yeah, I think over the next week or two, we're going to figure out whether this is a feature we actually want to include in Frames v2, and if so, we'll make this much more reliable. But for now, let's get rid of that and move it back into the main app. Yeah, so just a bunch of stuff to kind of figure out here. I haven't done a lot of research up front, so I don't have too much of a plan. We're just going to kind of work on this live. So thanks for joining me if you're along for the ride. We may have long periods of silence while I'm thinking or figuring stuff out. So, but yeah, try to narrate along the way. Okay. Is there a way to increase the quality? Good question. No idea. I'll have to look at my setup here afterwards. Let's see. Medium. Yeah, maybe if the web is easier to see, we can bump up the size on web. I'll use that for most of the debugging today. Okay, let's figure this out. So first thing to do here, we've shipped new versions of the Frame SDK over the course of the last week. I think, yeah, this is on 008. We're up to 0010. So now we need to do this. Let's just install that. And the other thing that changes fairly frequently is this connector, which we've made a couple changes to in the last week. So I'm going to make sure this is in the most recent version. The big thing that's changed in here is right now we've updated it to emit like the appropriate events when certain things happen. So if you had issues with like changing the chain in the past or changing accounts, that was because this connector was not correctly emitting those events. We'll probably upstream this into the SDK soon, like this week. All right, let's update this. Cool. All right, so going back to DevTools here, let's try this out. Just get up and running. Frames v2. Okay, cool. That's hitting our dev server. Okay, it looks like, yeah, something else is broken here too, where we're not fetching recent activity. Okay, yeah, updated SDK, grab the new connector. So one thing, yeah. One useful thing we discovered in the last week is there's an easy way in Safari to go view web views inside a connected iPhone or mirrored phone, which is pretty sweet. So if you open Safari, like a big problem, right, is you're logging stuff to the console um, in this web view loaded in the mobile app, and you can't see what's going on. So actually, if you use this develop menu in Safari, this is like where you find the usual dev console, dev tools. You'll see web views here. And you can actually pop this open and look at the console for running apps. So this is pretty useful if you're debugging using these mobile tools. And just to show this, if we put like let's put a console log in this component. Guess I had one already. Yeah, there we go. So this should be super useful for debugging if you're developing an app. We also have this web frame playground available as well. So webcast.com developers frames. We've also added an actual landing page here where you can find all the links to the developer tools. I know this has been much requested, so you can access the Frame v2 tools here and launch your frame. Looks like we have a little a little bug here to fix with adding the splash image URL in these fields, but it works. So you can use this as well. Hopefully much easier to access the dev console. All right, so let's figure out I'm going to keep using the mobile tools for now, but let's figure out what's up here. And a bunch of places to start. Let's start with I think I'm going to start with just removing this primary button. And then debugging debugging wallet issues on mobile and web. Or actually, let's keep the button and just figure out what's going on here first. So we're always getting an estimate gas error, and we're doing some funny stuff in here. I think like today we'll probably just simplify the way this app is working a little bit. This was all based on like a frames v1 example where we were trying to demonstrate a few different things here. And so let's take a look at this. This Yoink button, it's calling this function. We're going to want to get rid of this like set primary button stuff. And then we are fetching the transaction call data from this this API endpoint. We're doing some error handling where we check if you are rate limited or if you're getting an error because you have the flag already. Getting back that transaction data, passing it to the WAGMI hook, which passes it to the wallet. And I'm not quite sure where in this chain we're actually bumping into this issue. So that's the first thing to debug. I suspect this has something to do with simulating, so that that backend route simulates the transaction and tries to like check for these error cases and handle those errors. But let's make things dumber before we make them smarter and see where this goes. So yeah, here's this API route, Yoink TX params. Let's see what we're doing in here. Okay, so we're passing in our address. This will be the address of who is calling the Yoink contract. Calling this simulate Yoink function, which is going to attempt to simulate the contract call. Catching all these errors. There's kind of a complex conditional in here that's like walking through all the error options and trying to convert them from the solidity error, which is like these short error messages, unauthorized, slow down, into a friendlier error, and doing some data calculation in here too to make it show how long you have to wait till you can Yoink again. So this is all pretty complex. I think let's just like omit the simulation altogether and just return call data and see if we can get it going from there. So we will just skip this for now. And see if my suspicion is right that that's where that issue is originating. All right, maybe not. Okay, recent activity is broken locally because I need to add, we started storing some stateful stuff in Redis. I don't have that locally. This is kind of noisy in the logs, so actually I'm gonna go fix that right now. Yep, Evelyn. Oh, what's the issue? A bunch of stuff is the issue. We're fixing a bunch of stuff here. One is this, like, I don't know if you've tried Yoink lately. We're just like none of the transactions are working at all. Just trying to debug where in this whole call chain this is happening. And we have like, I think Yoink is right now a little bit of a poor demo example because it has a bunch of indirection. We're using this primary button thing, which is like actually not supported yet in frames. This was just kind of a attempt to test that out and prototype that ourselves. We are like making this API call to get the transaction data, which is doing this sort of simulation and error handling step. So I'm going to simplify all this and just like make it try to send the call data directly and then kind of work back from there to build back up the error handling and stuff. But yeah, this whole thing is kind of a mess right now with like multiple multiple pathologies. And then the this other thing is that we started working on notifications. There's like a little bit of notification code in here as well that are using using a Redis, and I just forgot to add that locally. So in fact, let me just pop that in right now. Go grab those from Vercel. Okay, there we go. Okay, great. We've got our recent activity back. So you might also notice this recent activity seems to be cached. I think there's some next data caching going on in between this view and this this endpoint. So that's another thing on the to-do list to figure out. But yeah, one thing at a time. Let's look at this endpoint. So maybe I'm wrong. It's not the simulation step. Account association. Yeah, there's a, it should be on this screen now. So if you go in here to domains, paste your domain, we have this option now, which will also generate the example frame attributes. And then just hit that. That will copy paste it. And then you'll want to fill in these details with your actual frame data. We also have this down here where you can paste the JSON. So make sure you're pasting the JSON. We've seen a few people paste the URL, but yeah, you can just copy that and throw it in there and it'll validate. Nice. Okay, yeah, we'll try that in a sec. Let's see. Another possibility, I guess, is that this route is cached. And we're always returning like a cached error or something here. So maybe let's do this. Let's just encode the call data directly. Rather than hitting this API at all. Okay, so let's just undo all of this. Oops. And basically just do this in the component itself. Okay, busted something here. Okay, hit this in the browser to see what's going on. Looks like we're importing a dependency that we can't use on the front end, something related to Nanar. We should probably split this module up, but I'm going to be lazy and just copy this while we're debugging. Okay, here's our web view. Dev tools. We're generating the call data. Yeah, I forgot. This is actually really simple. It's just the function selector. There's like no arguments to this function. It's just yoink. So all the call data is the function selector here. We could even inline this. Let's make sure we're specifying base. Okay, weird. This is quite close to what we're doing in the demo app. You can see we have a call data tag on this one, but it's the same selector. This shouldn't make any difference. Let's put it in just in case. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm streaming in low quality. Sorry. I don't think I can change this mid-flight though. I'll just try to bump up. Bump up size when I can. Issue is a gas estimation error. Unknown RPC error occurred. The other thing I slightly suspect is our config here and like our RPC connectors. Double check what we have. I think we don't have a RPC set in the local environment, I think. Okay, this variable is missing locally, so it's falling back to whatever the default provider is. Okay, just sanity checking with the demo, which does exactly the same thing. There it is. Our demo's not even using a private transport. Check if my wallet is failing to switch to chain. Yeah. And I mistakenly tried to estimate a call on a different chain. I had that with Yoink. Can't figure out how to change address connected to my friend V2, connected in the simulator once. Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's try changing some config. I don't know, let's just throw it in an effect, I guess. I think we have this in here somewhere. We switch chain. Cool. We need your connector, chain ID. Log the current connected chain ID. Yeah. No, I need to click the button. Okay, some clues in here. Unsupported method, ETH estimate gas. Don't actually see our chain ID in here. But this will probably give us some clues. Here's a chain changed event. That's base. Okay, there we go. Yep, I think that's a good suggestion. Clearing application state, clearing our local storage. Agree. Let's do that out of here. I think that'll do it from the Safari DevTools. Hmm. Don't see the XHR request. I'm less familiar with the Safari tools. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's triggering a fetch at all. It's really puzzling to me why it works in the demo and not when we do the same thing here. All right, whatever. Let's just ensure we switch before. Oh, we already did that though. Great. That's what I'd expect. I guess maybe we what, can we just like bypass gas estimation, set like some, this is stupid, but maybe this works. Okay. Uh, don't want to actually do that, but yeah, skipping gas estimation seems to make that work. Oh yeah, sorry. I don't think we can make this any bigger. Yeah, no revert in rainbow, that works. But if you look at the transaction data here, I'm passing explicit gas, like 2 million gas. And then this is just, I'm canceling it. Yeah, yeah, it simulates fine. It would execute. It would hopefully use less than that amount of gas, but okay. Well, it's the gas estimation stuff. At least we know. Let's gosh, okay. What's different? The only different things here are we're using the async functions. I mean, we can try. Hmm. No way. All right, let's make sure it's not just. Yeah, I guess we need to go look at the error from the hook ourselves if we're not using that. So okay, I don't think that's it, but let's check. Let's make sure we're getting the same error. This does not seem seem likely, but I don't know. Yeah, okay. Same estimate gas error. So it's not async versus sync. I would be really surprised if it was. Okay. Yeah, maybe I have a transaction stuck. Let's take a look. I'll go check. I think that's unlikely, but this is like a reasonably new VM, right? We're on 221 something, 44. Declare two chains in the transports. Yeah. Yeah, we can, I mean, yeah, we can just walk through replicating exactly what the demo has. And I'm starting to cargo call it here a little bit, but why not? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but it's actually just the latest, like, here, I'll share the repo in chat. We're just literally working off the latest commit in there. There's a slightly newer WAGMI in the demo app. I doubt that's it, but 3 new chat messages. Maybe someone has a good idea. All right, Vlad's gonna solve it. It's probably something extremely stupid. You lose 30 IQ points when you're live streaming. Okay. No. No. Oh man. I'll take it. Okay. I upgraded VM and WAGMI dependencies. No way. Man, all right. Yeah, Vlad, I just looked at the demo app and it was just on a different minor version of WAGMI. I would not have expected that, but who knows? We have like a lot of, we do still have a lot of stuff going on in our custom connector and all of that. That seems to have done it. Okay, I'll take it. We're back in business. I was about to cut bait and kill this stream. Okay, so that seems to be working. Cool. All right, let's move on to something else. So let's try getting rid of this primary button stuff. And goal here is like basically just move this button out of the external interface and into the app. I think cursor will be able to do this. Let's try it. I'd like to stop using the set primary button. Yeah, it was. Okay, let's set some external UI state for this app, which is embedded in my frame. Let's move this into a button in our own UI instead. Cool. So yeah, idea here, let's just extract our own button, move this into our interface. We'll let Claude take care of all the wiring up of disabled and loading states and stuff. And then, yeah, this looks good to me. We'll basically take this stuff that we were passing to primary button before. We'll just put that as state inside inside our component and manage that ourselves for now. And yeah, that'll be a good foundation too, because when we actually bring back this primary button thing in the future, we can just pop that back in. Um, all right, let's see what our friend Claude has done. This is ugly too. When I get a sec, we should use aliases for all this. What else? Tailwind merge, what are you doing? Okay, thanks, but not needed right now. Okay, close enough. Cool, we'll work on the styling in a minute. Let's verify what we got here. This looks fine. Loading and hidden states. Bunch of tailwind styles. Yep, that's fine. Set the text, disabled loading hidden, looks good. Okay, this is a little goofy. We probably want the button itself to have like an active callback function, right? This is a little weird to like just set the button UI, but do this stuff. Whatever. Let's leave it here for now. Yeah, fine. Let's clean up some of our mess here. Yeah, this looks good. Let's move this down. Cool. I kind of like the red actually. So let's see, we're still setting, maybe not actually. Did we remove that? Okay, we have at least one here. Yeah, okay. We're still calling it on this this init handler. Anywhere else? I think that'll be covered by our defaults. Actually, let's check. Okay, yeah, our default state is Yoink, so that's fine. What is this one doing? When we have a transaction receipt from the transaction, we're setting the text to yoinking and hiding it. So, um, not thrilled with this interface for the button. These things should probably be exclusive. Uh, I missed loading. Okay, maybe this is one of those baby steps that's more trouble than it's worth, but let's get this all like cut over to use this set state thing. Oh, look, we even have a component for this. Okay, maybe let's move towards this. This is a nicer design, I think. Let's put that button state internal to this component and kind of encapsulate it there. I'm going to ignore that one for now. I think this is okay. Let's try it. Cool. All right, let's do it. Awesome. Okay, so if you look carefully at this, I don't know how much folks have tried this new Yoink. You'll notice there's other data caching stuff in here. So I have, suspicions that we have a bunch of places in Next that we need to go figure out how to uncache or dynamically render. One you can see is if you click on these, you'll get there. Each user's Yoink stats. You'll notice the total number changes. So these I'm pretty sure are being cached at build time as static pages. Not hugely distracting, but something I do want to get right to make sure it's all real time. Same here with these. In fact, let's go like look. Let's look on chain and see. Here's base scan. Okay, and these are actually lining up 1 minute ago, 5 minutes ago, 7, 21, 23. This actually looks right. We have a ponder indexer. That's where this data comes from. It has crashed a couple times in the past week, which is probably something to go look at, and also put better monitoring and restarts around that. It's just running on runaway. Cool. We are so back. Okay, so it looks like this is working fine-ish. Not thrilled with our interface there, but let's keep moving. We're not handling these errors though, right? Like right now, this is failing likely because I have the flag, or maybe because I'm rate limited. And prior to this, we had a nice interface for figuring that out. So let's restore that. Maybe we can just return this to the way it was. Yeah, my linter's a mess too. Okay, we had something more complicated in here before. What was this doing? Uh, Here it is, just grabbing it from source control. All right, this is what we had before. We were loading it from from this API route, which does all the decoding of errors, does the simulation. So we're not relying on the wallet to do the simulation. Let's try this. Oh, and we're doing some primary button stuff here. So disable it. Something's telling me we're doing something stupid here. It's not even hitting that. Oh, thanks. Nice tip. Next 15 uses no cache fetch by default. Might cache things that are fetched via API handlers. Yeah. Yep. I think that's exactly what's happening in a bunch of places. Okay. Why is this getting through? Let's look at our console. Okay, we seem to be retrieving the transaction data from that endpoint, which is good. Ah, okay, address unknown. That's not great. That should error. Okay, at least we're catching that here. Oh, okay. Okay, that looks right. We're passing through the address correctly to that API endpoint. and I've been yoinked, so this works again. Uh, hmm, that shouldn't happen, but I think I saw Carlos grab it in between. All right, now I expect. Okay, I expect a failed simulation on our end, not in the wallet, but let's see. Okay, so it's not erroring, but it is giving us back this undefined result. We are using this default transport. I'm sure that base RPC is probably the default transport anyways, but there we go. Okay. Okay, that's a little tricky. So yeah, I think we're not, when this falls back to the default RPC, it's using this mainnet base.org RPC, which either is rate limited or is not supporting the simulation calls we need here. And it seems like this maybe is not throwing hard, it's just returning an undefined result. I should go look at let's go look at the VM docs for this. Simulate contract. Okay. Yeah, in general, I think it's just good practice for us to not use these default providers. I'm gonna go back into our WAGMI config too. Okay, cool. So this is what I would expect. I'm rate limited, so now we're getting this nice countdown timer. One thing we've changed that we should make sure still works is that this will show a button once the timer expires. Let's just fake that. Oh, it's the easiest way to do this. There it is. Okay, so we need to replace this usage of the old button with our new button. Let's see. This is already getting some kind of callback as a prop. Okay, so I think we can just use a primary button here. Okay, I think a Yoink button, let's extract a Yoink button component that handles all of this internally. We're like triggering the callback here, but you can see we're getting a 403 because I have the flag right now, or I'm rate limited right now. The other case we care about is if I have the flag. The undefined result is compliant to JSON RPC specs. Yeah, it's surprising. We'll have to look closer into what's going on there. Okay, the other thing you might notice we have in here is this add frame button. This is new. This is new frames v2 behavior. So this should be calling SDK actions add frame. There's an example of this in the demo app too. In fact, let's go look at that. But this is how you can prompt the user to save the frame to their client app. In the next couple of days, we'll have the ability to go find these in your app and view them. And then this is also what gives you the ability to send notifications to the user. So when you click add, you'll get back this notification token and a callback URL that you can use to send notifications to a client. You can even, in this demo, hit this button and you should see notifications. Let's see if I got one. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. So yeah, we got this notification. This is a test notification. Tap this, and this is also an example of this new concept of like triggers. When you tap this, you can define in your app as well when a notification is triggered. We'll launch into your app, and let's see. Yeah, here we go. We have information about that notification in the context here. So this is how you can wire up your triggered notification back to your app. You'll get a UUID of the notification. You provide this when you send the notification from your side. You trigger the notification and provide a UUID, and so you can use these to match these up in your app. The user comes back, clicks this button, and you can go do something. So I was hoping to get a little further implementing that on Yoink today. But that's the basic principle. Let's go back and see. I'm not seeing it here, and I suspect maybe this is actually because I have this frame added already, and we're not handling that case. The other thing that may be happening here, which is less likely, I'm 90% sure it's because I've already added it. But the other thing that might be happening here is that we limit the app to request this once per session. So every time, session meaning every time you've launched the web view. Yeah, that'd be great if you fork and use Frog for this fun. So yeah, your embedded app, your frame app can request this like once every time the web view is opened, but we won't let you like request it 100 times in a session, just to prevent frame applications from spamming the user with requests to add the frame. So basically, you get one chance every time the user has opened the frame to prompt them once to say, hey, do you want to save this? But we're not going to. We want to prevent frame apps from asking you, 100 times before you take any action in the frame. If the user has rejected it, you get back an error that says, nope, the user doesn't want to add it, and you can continue with the frame. So really want to discourage too much spammy behavior in these frames. Let me go check. I think we have this on the web dev tools right now. Yeah, okay, so if you're a dev, using the dev tools, you can see your added frames here. And this is what the launching experience will look something like this. You'll see them in the app somewhere. You can tap these and open them up. Looks like I don't have Yoink added though. Oh, I see what it is. It's because my manifest is invalid, right? So I'm testing through the local dev server. Of course, I can't add it. So yeah, another prerequisite to being able to add is that your frame has a valid manifest. If you don't have that data defined, you can't add a frame. So that's what's going on here. Let's try the production frame. Oh, Yoink party. There we go. Okay, so it's just my invalid manifest. And yeah, there you can see if I do click it again, I maybe can't tell on stream, but I'm clicking again. Prompts me once. If I say not now, click, 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 it won't let me do it another time. So that's all state that we as the app need to handle ourselves. And in fact, with notifications, there's like a lot of state that you'll need to manage as the frame application. So we'll definitely do a walkthrough of this at some point. I was hoping to get to that now, but I think we should do a more detailed walkthrough step by step. I'll sit down and make sure I know, know what I'm doing before we do that too. But walking through how you can do that. We can take a quick look at like what we have in Yoink right now. I don't think it's wired up quite correctly yet, but just a preview of what that might look like. I think we have it in this recent activity route. So we've added, yeah, we've added this KV module, which is storing a little bit of state to Redis. That includes whoever is the current flag holder, and it also includes these notification tokens. And then right now we have it in this API route. Basically, when anyone hits this API, we will go through here and trigger a notification to anyone who's had the flag yoinked from them. And basically what we need to hold on to as the frame app is every time a user adds a frame, we need to hold on to the user's notification token. We need to hold on to the API endpoints that we need to interact with. I think for the next week or so, probably Warpcast is the only client that's implemented notifications, but this will be unique by client, right? So if they install in a different Farcaster app, you need to hold on to that callback URL, and you need to like notify them all independently. And then basically trigger a callback to that API with that notification token. But for some reason, these aren't firing, so we have to go in and debug exactly why. Okay, I'm going to push this up to production Yoink. Sure. Okay, all the button state stuff, this new primary button stuff. These upgrades, sure. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I think I'm gonna call it too. Yeah, we debugged this transaction stuff. Good to know it was not us. We moved the primary button out of using the custom like primary button SDK stuff, which is not fully baked yet. That's coming soon, but not quite ready for prime time. So let's just handle that ourselves. I think the next thing I'm going to do here is clean up all that button stuff a bit. Like the state is managed in a bunch of different places. Let's just pull that all into like a Yoink button that can manage its own state, knows how to send transactions and stuff. Will be simpler than kind of all the multiple steps of callbacks and stuff we have going on in here right now. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to go look at the notification stuff too. I think were I to go do that right now, we'd probably be sitting and you'd be watching me read docs and tweak stuff and figure stuff out for 2 hours. So I'm going to go do that, but then I'll record a video on how to set that all up yourself. Probably using Yoink as a demo, but just go over how that all works and do kind of a more concise demo for folks who are getting started on that this week. So that stuff is all live. Like go look at the demo. Go read the docs. We have a docs page on the Farcaster docs site. It's at docs.farcaster.xyz. Go in here, find frames. And yeah, we have this new frames v2 notifications and webhook section, which goes over exactly how to set this all up. But yeah, I'll walk through that and record a video of how to do that for Yoink. Cool. All right, thanks for joining today, everyone. This one was a little bit more debugging than I had hoped, but yeah, we'll keep doing these. I think as long as people are still interested in watching. So yeah, see you again maybe later this week or same time next week. Thanks, everyone.